going to the board and seeing what we committed to this month.
What's up, everybody?
What's up, Brandon? How you doing?
How y'all doing?
I'm alright.
Fantastic, bro. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
Excited to have you, bro. That's for damn sure.
Yes, sir.
You want me to just go, or you?
Bro, you got this, homie. With shit. You know what to do.
Number one, I appreciate you guys all taking time to hop on here today, and a couple of things just to talk to you guys about today. Number one, and I think despite what the media is saying and the things you're hearing on the news, I think we are poised to, from a real estate perspective, like it's going to turn, and when it turns, it's going to last for a while. And if you look at like the actual housing shortage that is in this country right now, it's probably the worst that it's ever been. And so as rates change, that is a big driver for people buying a house, right? So I just would tell you guys that, like, be prepared, because I think another COVID type of run is coming. And I'll tell you guys that by no means can I predict the future, but I've been right ahead of every single trend since I've been in real estate. And that served me well for the growth of our companies and what we do. And what I will tell you guys is probably the best financial run you are ever going to see in your lifetime in real estate is coming. And it could come tomorrow, it could come a month from now, but it's going to come, it's going to last for a few years, and then it will probably pull back again. And the reason why I'm telling you guys this is because you prepare now by your daily habits and what you do every single day. And the worst thing that you can do is not have good daily habits. When things get really good market-wise, you'll start to do well. But what will happen is when the market changes again, you did well because the market did well, not because your habits, right? And so what I will tell you is, like right now, you've got to get good every single day of what your daily habits are, because when the market gets good, things are going to go really, really well, and we tend to get complacent, and we tend to move away from the things that got us there and the habits that got us there. And what I will tell you guys is, to give you guys some context, I mean, the most houses that I sold in a year myself was 400. And since my second year in real estate, even till last year, and I'm not really even in production anymore, I've never sold less than 100 houses a year. And I will, in most years, I sold 200 plus. And it's because every single day my habits are the same, right? So one of the things you guys have to do and learn is every day you got to hunt, right? You got to hunt for a deal. You've got to be in your database, be in leads, be marketing every single day. If you can find an appointment a day, you will sell more real estate and financially make more money than you ever could have dreamed of. But the monotonous day in, day out of making the calls, being in the database, most people just don't want to do that. And I can understand and I can appreciate that. But at the same time, if you want true financial freedom and you want legacy type wealth, like that's what it takes. And you guys know this, like if you do a good job in your business, people are going to come back to you. So the more you work, the luckier you get. And if you're consistent in your habits, the more that your business builds, right? So for me, what happened was I just got used to it, and then it just became a habit. So, and then it just never changed. Like I run most of my days every single day the same way. And I'm just better at it now, so it compounds. And what I will tell you guys is, most people just can't get past the daily.
Oh my God.
The same thing, so you procrastinate. And what I will tell you is procrastination is a form of depression.
Give me 1 second, Brandon. It clicked off. All right, say that last thing one more time.
Procrastination is a form of depression.
You guys hear that?
Depression.
Procrastination is what?
It's a form of depression.
And what I will tell you guys, to have a real conversation with you today is if you're procrastinating in your work, it spills into other areas of your life. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And you have to understand something and just be really honest with yourself. And it's okay, but don't lie to yourself. You know what I mean? Like every single day, are you willing to do what it takes? And the crazy thing is in this business, it takes way less than you think. You're a lot closer than you think, right? All you got to do every single day is hunt in a database, call leads, market yourself, do a good job in the transaction. You think it's harder than that, but it isn't. I promise you it's not, right? And another thing that I will tell you guys, a lot of people in our industry where I did really well, where most people don't, is they don't spend time in the database talking to and trying to convert older leads. The older the lead, the better, in my opinion. 95% of people who sign up to any website, come in through any type of CRM, are not going to buy anything anytime soon. 5% will. The 5%, everyone's trying to market and call them. The 95% is the blue ocean. No one else is willing to go after. How did I do 200 plus transactions for most of my career? I was willing to go after the 95%, right? That no one else was willing to go after. And another thing too is, if you just think about this, like when you call a lead or you respond to a lead, they don't know you, they've never talked to you, they've never had any interaction with you. The reality of, in the first phone call, them wanting to do business with you is super unrealistic. So I will tell you guys, every single lead that I ever talked to, on average, I would call them 17 to 18 times, right? I mean, that's what it took. And it takes what it takes. And I will tell you guys, I come from a poor family. And beyond me, I didn't want us to be poor. So if it took 17 phone calls to get a yes, I was willing to take 17 phone calls to get a yes. What's my alternative? Right? For my family to be poor? Yeah. I'm just not willing to do that. Right? And then over time, what I learned is I was able to get better. I was able to get better at conversations. So that 17 turned to about 11 or 12. And then I started building a business where people started calling me. I didn't have to do as many outbound dials if I didn't want to, but I never stopped, right? I never stopped. And I never stopped any of my habits that got me here, regardless of how much my business grew or what I did. See, everybody thinks it's complicated, and it's really not. It's the basics, it's the simple things. That's what will get you ahead. And I'm telling you guys, seriously, probably 50 to 60% of all the deals we close every single month, the lead is 120 days or older, right? And what happens in our industry is people don't have patience. They're not willing to work with clients. They're not willing to follow up with them that aren't ready to go right now today. Well, the ones that are ready to go right now today, I want you to understand something. They're on 7, got everybody and their mother calling them, right, that you're competing with. That's the 5%. The 95%, nobody else is willing to go after. And that's where the freaking gold is. The gold is in old leads in the database. And the other thing too is, your income is directly affected by what your daily habits are and what you're legitimately willing to do. And if you say, I want to make X amount a year, well, I can look at your calendar and tell you if you'll make it or not. I mean, it's pretty simple. You know what I mean? If you're not time blocking your day every single day to prospect for clients, to market your brand, then I can tell you, you're going to be mediocre or below, right? And the crazy thing is, in this business, it doesn't take a lot to stand out, because most of the people you compete with are not going to be willing to do the things. And again, it's not crazy. You don't have to work 100 hours a week. You don't have to do a bunch of crazy shit. All you have to do is be steady and consistent every single day with your daily habits, and the game will change for you substantially. And most people just are not willing to do that, right? Like, I came into real estate, I was brand new. Everybody in my office had been in the business for 20 or 30 years. And I was able to become a top producer and absolutely crush them because all their habits sucked, right? Their work ethic sucked. They weren't willing to get on the phone. Hell, most real estate agents don't answer their damn phone. Like, it's crazy. They don't answer their damn phone. And I want you guys to think about something. You are in the business of sales, right? If you are not out meeting with a client, if you're not in front of a client, you should be on the damn phone. I mean, how do you make sales? You gotta talk to people, right? Well, how do you get to an appointment? Typically, you're communicating with them on the phone or through an internet lead or whatever. So, like, one of the things you guys should really do is you should audit how you spend your time. Do you know what I mean? Audit what you do every single day. And if the majority of your time is not spent on prospecting for new business, then I can tell you your business will suffer. And no matter how busy you get and how many deals you got going on, you should never take away that prospecting time. You should do it day in and day out. Because over time, that's what compounds, and then that's what feeds, and then that's what really helps you grow your business. But most people are just not willing to do that. And if you are, then that's when financially it can change for you. And you don't have unpredictable. See, the thing is, good market, bad market, sideways market, it doesn't matter to me because I know that I will be consistent in any single market. So it just does not matter. And I will tell you guys another thing that I've learned in my life is the success that you want is the work that you're avoiding. So the success you actually want in your life is all the things you don't want to do. And it's all the things that you more than likely are avoiding, right? And I will tell you that this is just human psychology. Your brain always scans your environment for shit it doesn't want to do, right? And, you know, I'm sure all of us have dealt with this. Like, you wake up, it's like, and I don't want to make 50 calls today, 100 calls today. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. And because it's uncomfortable. But I will tell you, what is in your bank account is directly tied to your tolerance of pain, right? And if you can, every single day, you can day in and day out, you can say, hey man, I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to take the pain because I know what's on the other side. Then that's where the freaking game changes. And another thing that I will tell you guys that you guys should understand and be very thankful and fortunate is, you know, I know Alex and Jamie pretty well, and you guys are blessed to have them as leadership because it's a rarity when you get people that really care about the people that work for them. And you guys might not necessarily realize it because you're next to them every day and you see it every day. And you're not seeing it from the outside, but you guys, they've spent a lot of time being in the same rooms as me, you know, and getting things to help them further their personal development so they can become better business owners, better leaders. And just something you guys should be aware of. You guys have two really, really great special people that are great leaders. And I will tell you guys a lot of times, because I lead a ton of people, when we tell you something, it doesn't necessarily register, but I'm telling you they're coming from a good place to help you guys. So I want you guys to always be mindful of that, because I can tell you that I've had people that have worked for me and in the real estate business, and they only worked for us right first. They never went anywhere else. And every single person who's ever left my environment has tried to come back, because they didn't understand until they left their environment what our environment actually was. So you guys should be thankful and thank them as leaders. That's why I'm willing to get on the phone with you guys today, because I respect the hell out of both of them and I know the type of people they are. And I would tell you guys, the other thing is, for you guys to win at a big level, you guys have to all buy in together, right? Even though individually you guys all need a certain level of success, if you guys all buy in and lock in together, you become an unstoppable team. You know how we got to number one in the state of Maryland as a team? We all locked in together. We all bought in together. And we got to number two in the United States for homes sold. Again, same thing. We all bought in and locked together. And here's what I want you guys to understand. Whatever you want individually, wherever you want to go in your life financially, if you guys lock in together as a team, individually you'll get it. And if you look at it from an abundance mindset standpoint, and you understand that, see, everything I have in my life comes from abundance. I don't think in scarcity. You know, there's always more. We can always go out and do more. We can always go out and make more. And I understand that. I never look at anything from a scarcity lens. And when you view the world from an abundance mindset, abundance will come, right? But you have to be willing to every single day put in the work and put in the habit and have the same habits day in and day out. And most people just can't do it. Think about it like this. I don't know if any of you guys go to the gym, but I can tell you every single year, January 3rd, the gym is freaking packed, right? You can't even get on a damn machine, right? By the end of January, it's back to normal because most human beings cannot commit to the same habit day in and day out. And the ones that are willing to commit to the same habits day in and day out, that's the separation between the 99.1%. And to give you guys context, you know, in our industry, like I mentioned it before, but it doesn't take a lot. I'm sure you guys have done transactions with a ton of agents where you're like, dude, they are just not good at their job. It doesn't take a lot to stand out. It doesn't take a lot to make a mark on a customer. It doesn't take a lot to grow your business if you're willing to do what it takes every single day. And it's not difficult, right? I'm going to give you a couple of things that if you just do this for 90 days, you do it every day for 90 days, you come back to me and tell me I'm wrong, right? And this is what I did early in my career. This is exactly what I would do. I would make 90 phone calls every single day, 90 outbound dials every single day. Go into the CRM, make 90 phone calls every single day. I would drop one post on social media every single day. 90 phone calls, one post on social media every day. I would send one informative email to my entire database once a week, and I would do 2 open houses a month. That's it. Right? That was my daily habits every single day. And by doing that, my first year, I did that every single day, right? My first year in real estate, if any of you guys are new, by the way, was terrible. And I wanted to freaking quit. And thank God I didn't. Because my second year in real estate, I settled 160 houses. But I settled 160 houses my second year in real estate because my first year in real estate, I learned the habits to help me sell 160, and I did them day in and day out. Now, as I got busier and I got better, I started going from 90 calls to 100 calls to 200 to 300. At one time, I was doing somewhere between 400 to 500 outbound calls every single day because I knew that if I made that many calls, I would get a ton of business. Now, guess what happened? Over time, I did so many transactions that those transactions started referring me transactions, right? So then I changed it to instead of making 500 calls, I would just straight prospect for sellers because I had built in so much business, so much repeat business. But it all started with just making 90 phone calls every day, marketing once a day on social media, sending out one email, doing 2 open houses. Every single person that's listening to this, y'all can do that, right? That is not, I didn't do anything crazy. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I didn't reinvent some new selling process. I didn't change anything. Another thing too that I want to tell you guys is that you should be thinking about is for the longevity of your business, you got to really think about marketing yourself. If you don't market yourself, the consumer thinks you're every other agent. I think the statistic was 74% of agents last year didn't sell a house. And the average consumer lumps you in with them, right? And if you don't tell the story of why you're different from them, then that's what they think. And one thing that I will tell you is marketing will get you customers, branding will get you wealthy. And early in my career, about my third year, I really started to understand branding. So I really started branding myself. And that made a huge difference for the growth of my business as well. So I will tell you guys, branding is not saying the same thing that every other real estate agent says. Branding is understanding the consumer, meeting them where they're at, and having a conversation with them. So, like for instance, prime example, I'll give you guys a script that we use on social media. So everybody says, and we say this in emails and everything to consumers, but like you go on, hey, contact me for a CMA, contact me to see the value of your house, right? That's what everybody says. Everybody says the same thing. So if I'm a consumer and I see all these agents saying the same thing, I think that all of them are going to give me the same thing, right? So one of the things that I like to say to a consumer in advertising, and I've trained my agents to say this, like on social media posts, we'll post like, hey, would you like to know what's in your bank account, right? Well, you've got a bank account and it's an equity bank account in your house. And if you're like me, you would probably want to know what's in your bank account at any given time. We'd be more than happy to let you know what's in that bank account. And we'll come out and do an assessment on your property and let you know the equity that's sitting in your bank account. And there's no obligation whatsoever. Well, I said the same thing of what a CMA is. I just said it a different way, right? And I'm not saying the same thing that every single other agent has said. And another thing that I'll give you guys is one of the biggest mistakes that people make, I think, in marketing on social media is you say, I sold 4 units last month, 3 units last month, 2 units last, whatever. You guys have seen that. Well, if I'm a consumer, I don't know what the hell a unit is, right? And not only that, if I see all these agents posting 3 units, 2 units, 4 units, again, we all think the same thing, right? Everybody's the same. Change it to, hey, I helped 3 homeowners, or I helped 3 people purchase a home last month. And then tell the story, right? Alex came to me, he knew nothing about buying a house. He was a first-time home buyer. You know, he was getting out, he'd been in the same rental for 5 years, he didn't know what to do. And then tell the story, humanize it. That's branding. Everybody says the same shit in our business. It's a sea of sameness. And that's why the consumers think that we are all the same. Well, they're going to think you're the same unless you do something about it. And understand and think you sell how you buy and vice versa. But understand the consumer doesn't necessarily buy how you sell. You got to meet people where they are. In your communication, in your conversations, in everything. And that's what makes you a good salesperson. If you say the same thing that everyone else says, then they're just going to think you're just like everybody else. And what I've trained my people to do and be is not the average realtor. I want you to form a relationship with these people for life. And that starts in the first conversation. And it starts in how you market. And it starts in everything that you do. But if you do and say the same thing every other real estate agent says, then they're going to think you're just the same as every other real estate agent. And not saying that you won't have a decent business, but if you want to be that 1% of the 1%, you got to talk different, you got to act different, you got to present yourself different. And that's the branding conversation, which will really help you grow and help you build a business long term. So just be thinking about that. And if you post on social media and you market yourself, think about your post through the eyes of a buyer or a seller. How would they read it? How would they interpret it? See, a lot of times when we market from our brain of how we think about it, but that's not necessarily who we're selling to. Think about how they would interpret it and how they would see it and how they would read it. And that's what can make a huge, huge difference in your business. When you learn how to communicate to the consumer the way that they buy, then that's when they will buy in from your marketing. And again, I want you guys to understand something. The real money in this business is made in follow-up. It is not made on the first or second conversation. I actually shared this statistic with my team this morning in our sales meeting, and it's somewhere between 72 and 74% of people that go on Amazon every day, put something in their cart and don't buy it, right? Because human beings are indecisive. And I will tell you guys, just as an example, go try this. Go put something in your cart at Amazon and don't buy it, and then watch how Amazon markets to you. You could probably learn something about marketing. I think they've got it figured out, one of the biggest companies in the world. They will market to you ad nauseum to try to get you to buy what you put in your cart. But the point that I'm making is, if 72 or 74% of people that are going to Amazon every single day can't make a decision on something super simple, understand when someone's buying or selling a house, how much indecision they are sitting in at any given time, right? And if you expect to, in just one phone call or one conversation, expect that they're going to do a deal with you, then that's just not realistic. But also just have a very transparent conversation with yourself. If you're not willing to be tenacious in your follow-up, you're going to be a mediocre realtor at best. Because your ability to follow up is where you're going to make serious, long and short-term money in this business. And if you're one or two times trying with a lead or a client and you don't get anywhere, you stop, I can promise you you're going to be mediocre at best. And I can tell you one of the biggest things that has helped our growth is follow-up. The money is made in this business on follow-up. And I'll tell you guys, because we track everything, the average sale from time of contact to them signing a buyer's agency or signing a contract or whatever, from lead came in to conversation to actually contract with us, is about 27 conversations, right? So we're one of the top real estate teams in the United States, and we track it and we pay attention to it. And we're pretty damn good and we're pretty well trained. It's about 27 conversations. To our initial conversation to all the way to closing, it's about 27 conversations. That's not counting the conversations in the middle of the deal. That is just conversations to get them to commit to work with us on the buyer side or commit to work with us on the seller side, not counting conversations of the deal. So again, I'm just being very honest and transparent with y'all. If you think, hey, in 2 or 3 attempts, if someone's not willing to work with me, I'm going to move on, that's not realistic. And you better hope you don't have somebody like me in your market, because I'm going to take that client from you. Because I'm willing to call them 17, 18, 20 times, right? And that's what it takes. Do you know what I mean? And it takes what it takes. But to be quite honest with you, I don't think that's difficult. Making 20 phone calls, 17 phone calls, whatever the case is, to get a sale, I personally don't think that's difficult whatsoever. But again, that's what it takes. And if you are not blocking time in your day for outbound follow-up, and you are not precise around your time blocking, you don't run your day runs you. So, and again, I'm telling you guys all this because we are about to get a gift, like an insane gift from the market, where we are going to go on a freaking bull run, and it's going to be as crazy, if not crazier, than COVID. And if you look at all the economic signals, they're in the favor of real estate. And you got to think about something. You guys represent something that everyone wants. Everyone, for the most part, eventually wants to own a house. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of the most Googled things that's out there around real estate. Real estate is always sexy on social media. People always pay attention to it. You guys sell something that every human being at some point, everybody's got to live somewhere. And most people want to own a home at some point in their life. So understand the average consumer also has a herd mentality. So when it flips to a bull run, everybody's going to want to buy a damn house. And what you don't want to be in this business is subject to market conditions. So you're down when the market's down, you're up when the market's up. What you want to do is, regardless of the market, you're up. And that's super easy to control. If you can control your daily habits, you can control your income. If you can control your income, doesn't matter what the market does, right? And then you have predictability. You're not stressed about money. You don't have any of that shit to worry about because you know every single day your daily habits are going to win. And I know that this sounds really, really simple, but it honestly is that simple. If you can win every single day, you're going to win in the long run. And if you can win every single day with your habits, you're going to win. And if you're willing to do hard shit, you're going to win. And that's the reality of what it comes down to.
We're on mute.
Alex, I'll open it up for questions, or you can ask me questions.
Okay. Cool, bro. Thanks, man. That was fucking awesome, bro. We needed to hear that. So, tell me a little bit, like, what does your team do daily? What is the requirements of your team? Daily, weekly, monthly?
So, well, if you want to be on leads, we have all kinds of lead, like rules, we call it quote unquote rules of the pipeline. So they've got to make a certain amount of phone calls in every day and basically have all the back end of their CRM buttoned up around the leads. And if they don't, they get taken off leads. So it's outbound calls every single day. And then also all the stuff in the CRM on the back end has to be tight. And if they don't, they just get taken off leads. But I would say on average, my average agent in here is making 150 to 200 outbound calls every single day.
Wow, that's serious. And are they required to come in every day, or they do it from home, or how does that work?
No, everybody comes in. So again, just giving you guys my 2 cents, right? So if I wanted to learn how to speak Spanish, right, I would want to go to a Spanish speaking country and stay there, right, and stay there for a certain period of time because I'm probably going to pick up the language a lot better. So why we require the agents to come into the office is because they're going to pick up the habits of all the other top producers. And they're going to learn from the conversations, and they're going to be around it, and they're going to be in the environment. So all of our agents work out of here consistently because it increases their productivity. And I will tell you guys, just for me personally, I have an office in my house. I can't work out of it. It's like mentally, like when I walk through the door, I'm home. And when I walk to the office, I'm in the office. So just for me, I can't work from home. Like I just can't. Right? It's like I have a gym at my house and I can't work out of my house either. I still got to go to the gym, right? Like it's just for me, I need that mental separation. But yeah, everybody works out of here. And there's also a direct correlation for the people that are in here the most, their production is the highest. And if they're not in here, they're on an appointment.
And then the appointment's over, they come right back to the office and get on that phone.
Correct.
Okay. And then,
Correct.
bring us back though, bro. So, how did you become so consistent? Because if that's one thing, I could tell you about you since the minute I met you is one, you say what the fuck, you do what you say you're gonna do, and you're so consistent with I've never seen you miss anything. Even the time you were about to die, you still went on stage and did a keynote speaker. I don't know how you do it, bro.
Yeah, so Alex saw me speak in front of, I don't know, was it 2,500 people, Alex? 2,500, 3,000? I don't know what it was. But I had 7 kidney stones and diverticulitis. 7. I don't know if anybody on this has had a kidney stone, but 1 is the most excruciating pain you could ever imagine. I had 7. Now at the time, I did not know I had 7. I thought I had 1. And I didn't know that I had diverticulitis, which is some shit y'all don't want, trust me. And I would not wish a kidney stone on my worst enemy because it is just, I can't describe that pain. And unless you've ever had one, you just don't, it sucks. Just trust me on that. Here's the thing. The most important conversation you have every single day is with yourself. And don't lie to yourself. Right? Do you know what I mean? So I personally believe that part of my mission in this world is to be an example, right? Like, I was given, certain gifts that I think that I have a responsibility to be an example. Whether you believe this or not, I'm going to say it how I want to say it. You're going to interpret it how you want. You guys, if you have families, if you have people that look up to you, you are the example. You have children, you have a spouse, and you lead by example. And I will tell you, the example is not what you say, it's what you do. And from a consistency standpoint, I don't want to lie to myself, right? Like, the real conversation, let's be real for a second. The real conversation you have every single day is the one you have internally. And I believe that we are capable of really extraordinary things, but it starts with really simple conversations that we have internally. So a long time ago, when I realized that my family didn't have anything and we were poor, the conversation I had with myself is generation and generation and generation before me weren't able to change it, but I know I can. And for me to do it, I know I got to be consistent. And the reality of it is the anxiety and fear that you have of not doing something actually is worse than when you actually do it. And you stay in the fear and the anxiety loop by not doing something versus by actually doing it, because our brains like to check boxes off, right? And so one of the things I'll tell you guys that I do that helps me attack my day is I do the hardest shit first. Like, if I got to deal with a difficult client or difficult situation, it's the first thing I do when I get to the office. Get the really hard shit off me, because then the rest of the day is going to be easy. Now, we all know shit comes up and you can't predict necessarily how your day is going to go. But if I know I got something really difficult to deal with, I just do it. And then I'll tell you guys, it takes 21 days to form a habit, right? Like mental toughness and mental fortitude is where everything starts. And I can promise you guys, like, if you can't be consistent around this and around your business, it's showing up in other areas of your life. And for me, it's like, for my family, for the people that I love, like, I got to be the example. And I just go back to, I've got a responsibility and I'm willing to be consistent, because if not, like, I just want you guys to think about this. Very few people in this world get the opportunity to financially change their life and their family's life. Real estate is a vehicle that can do that for you. If you get the opportunity, why in the fuck would you squander it? And not only that, if all you got to do is be consistent day in, day out for a long period of time to get there, why the hell would you not do that? And I'm not giving you guys shit. I'm just telling you, that's my internal, that's how I think and that's how I believe. And anyone who's ever came into my environment and followed my example is either rich or wealthy. All my agents, all my business partners, everybody. Because it's not that difficult. The most difficult thing any human being can be is consistent. It's the most difficult thing for anyone to do. But the easiest thing for you to do is be consistent, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, bro. My hand hurts, all these notes. Whew. I got another one, bro. So, like, I know one thing for sure, too, is, like, you're obsessed with this shit, dude. Like, you know, was it, like, how did all that come about? And talk to us a little bit about, like, how many doors you got. How did all that happen?
So I got about 1,000+ doors on the investment side.
Do you guys know what that means? He's got 1,000. No, I was asking these guys. Do you know what it means? He's got over 1,000 rentals. 1,000. Are you fucking kidding me? I don't even know if I can count to 1,000. All right, go ahead, bro. Sorry.
Did you say I don't know if I can count to 1,000?
Yeah, bro. Literally.
So here's the thing, right? From an obsession standpoint, like, I think you should do the things in life that make you happy. This makes me happy, right? And again, I think that the way you approach one thing is the way you approach anything. So if I'm willing to be all in on how I run my day and my business, then that spills into my relationships, it spills into my fitness, it spills into my health. Obsession, in my opinion, is not a bad thing if you channel it in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? Because if you want to be really successful at anything, you got to be a little bit fucking crazy. Yeah. And you got to have some obsession. I mean, you really do. And if you want to do anything of any significance, you got to have some obsession. And another thing that I'm going to tell all of you guys that I want you to understand is, in every situation when you grow as a human being and you get called, you're never going to feel qualified. And every single time that you start to level up, you will never feel qualified. But the reality of it is you're being called for a reason. And if you understand that, and you understand that the privilege is being called, and you can always improve and you can always get better, that's where my obsession comes from, because none of us are perfect. So every single day I get up and I'm just trying to be better than the day before. And that's kind of where my obsession comes from. And the real estate investing was just a natural progression. You know, I started investing in real estate when I was about 20 years old. So I like to do everything at a really high level. And, you know, that's how I got to the mass portfolio that I got to. And most of it, I don't have any of my money in it. Like, again, we all think things are harder than they really are, and you think you're farther away than you are. The first apartment complex that I bought, and Alex, I think you've heard this story. It was 120 units, and the owner thought he was going to die, and we managed it. And he called me and he said, "Hey, Brandon, I need to sell this apartment complex, but I want you to buy it." And I said, "Cool, well, you know, how much?" And he said, $7 million. And I didn't have $7 million laying around. And he said, "But I need you to do it in 30 days. And I was like, holy shit, like, what? And this goes back to what I mean, is you never feel qualified when you're called. So I got called, and here's what I knew in my head. I would probably never see an opportunity like this in my life again. I had to figure it out. And again, I not to get like morbid with you guys, but I want you to think about something. If you guys have kids or you're married, if somebody kidnapped one of your kids or kidnapped your spouse today and said, "Hey, you can get them back when you make $100,000, I bet your ass would get on the phone and make that $100,000 a day. And not only that, I bet you'd make it, right? Why? Because your back got put against the wall. You had no choice. See, the thing is, for me, the way that I viewed this is I didn't have a choice. I wasn't given a choice. The choice was I can break the generational wealth curse in my family, or I can let it keep going. I didn't have a choice. Same with this apartment complex. I knew that if I missed this was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I figured out how to go to settlement. Day 1, I didn't have the money to buy it. Day 30, we went to settlement. And oh, by the way, I got 3% commission on a $7 million listing or transaction. And we just turned down an offer on that property for over $20 million. Ooh. And I bought it 5 years ago. And I got $5 million in debt on it.
Holy
on
shit.
one transaction. And it was on one transaction that I was scared out of my mind, did not think I could do it, didn't think I could figure it out. I'm talking about I'm still putting the money together an hour before settlement, waiting for fucking wires and shit to come in to be able to go to settlement. But I knew that it was going to change my life if I bought that property, so I had no choice.
Wow. Man, that's amazing, bro. You guys have any questions for Brandon? Anybody got a question out there in internet land? Anybody got a question for him?
I have a quick question. So, with the, like, right now we've just, like, assigned up kind of like a leads manager. And I think because of some of the inconsistency of people coming in, it starts to get tough to make sure that they're not dropping the ball. When do you want to say something? Make sure that they're not dropping the ball. So I guess my question, other than just like for the leads manager, like how are they making sure that who they're distributing is actually being attended to before those people are lost? Is it just you're just trusting that they're all calling and following up the way that they should?
Yeah, so it's a great question. So what we do on our end is we basically we have somebody going in the database, and if a lead reaches out in the database and they're not responded to within 24 hours, we just reassign the lead. So we have someone manning it and reassigning it consistently, and then we get. So I'm not trying to be in production anymore. So I rotate the leads that come to me, which are always freaking home runs, based on who's on the phone the most, whose CRM is cleaned up the most. Like, and understand, if you guys are listening to this, if you're inconsistent in your CRM and your lead pop, your income's inconsistent. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know about you guys. Like, I come from being fucking poor. Like, I can't live with that stress. I can't live with stress with not knowing, you know what I mean? Well, is my income going to be this or going to be that this month? Like, I got to fucking make it, right? And I got to be able to predict it. So I know I can predict it based on the work that I put in. So for all of you guys, and I'm just going to say something that might sound harsh, but I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if you have kids or you have a spouse, like, if you're willing to run your day that way, like, is that the example you want your kids to see of how they should grow up and be? Like, are you willing to go in front of your children and be like, hey, this is what I do at work. I don't do my job, right? And I'm sorry to say it like that, but again, it spills into other places in your life. And you are the example, whether you know this shit or not. And your kids don't do what you say, they do what you do. And would you be willing to stand in front of your kids every single day and say, hey, this is really what I do, this is how inconsistent I am? I know that's harsh, but that's the way you should think about it. Because that is your future. The shit you do every single day is the future for you and your family financially.
Thank you.
I got a quick question too. So leads that you, like you said, that the leads that come into your system and you distribute them. How do you like pay your guys on those?
What do you mean?
So let's say you got a lead and you give it to me. You're like, hey, Alex, I got this client. You know, how do they get paid on those deals?
Oh, they just pay a referral back to the house. Like, if we refer a deal to them, they just pay a referral back to us.
And how does that work? Like, what is the referral?
25%.
Okay, so that 25% goes straight to the house, and then what is the split on the rest of it?
Whatever the split is.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anybody else have any questions?
Mind blowing right now.
Anybody? You got one? Go ahead, bro.
It's just more on like the other side of things. So
You guys got me for some time. You should ask me.
Yeah.
Definitely ask some questions, bro.
Yeah, I definitely got
Do
some
you want to
free
just
break.
stand up? You can hear you.
Turn your speaker.
yeah. So I'm more on the investment side of things, but I'm pretty brand new. You know, I would say this is like my 6th week into wholesaling. Came, from sales background with selling fences, roofs, fitness, supplements, and just bought a few rentals and wanted to kind of take this to the next level. That's when I met Alex, and so mainly kind of taking the role as acquisitions. My main questions is really, I tried to hire like 3 or 4 guys recently to kind of help out with texting, phone calls, and then a guy or 2 on the disposition side, and pretty much none of them have kind of brought much output. How do you say I get them to kind of be as motivated as I am and to kind of actually do the work, the 100 or 200, 500 calls that I'm trying to get them to do a day, and to get them to start getting some flow? How do I get them to actually start getting some output going? That's where I feel like, besides always having to go and find some new people and new hires and, kind of build that team, I just want to figure out how I could actually get them to, convert. That's where I'm stuck.
Yeah. So, to your question, and for everybody, the thing about it is, the only thing that you can do, that Alex can do, that any of you guys can do, is you can only create an environment for a human being to make a choice. And I just want you to think about this for a second. You guys cannot all of you guys can never make another human being productive. they're going to make a choice to be productive or they're not. And the best example I can give you is people will have a major health problem. They'll go to the doctor. The doctor will say, if you don't change your lifestyle, you're going to die. And I know the statistic on this. How many people you think in that situation change? The actual statistic.
10%.
Yeah, say small.
No more than 20%.
90% of people, when they're given a life-threatening condition, when they're told they have to stop smoking, drinking, lifestyle change from diet, where they need to exercise, 90% of the people, when they're given a death sentence, don't change the way they live. So with the threat of death, a human being will not change their behavior. Most human beings won't. The only thing that you can do is you got to try to have an honest conversation with them up front, and then you got to hold them to a standard. And with us, like, you come in, you don't adhere to the standard, you're going. Sorry, like, it's just because we're trying to build a championship team. Building a championship team requires effort from everyone's part. And I used to get so pissed off of like, well, why wouldn't they do it the way that I would do it? And I just realized that most human beings are just not willing to do the work. And I can't change that. So the reality of it is that you have to just look for your avatar and you have to set the expectation. And then I would just say, be quick to look, if you're not willing to adhere to this, then you're not built for this. And people will say anything they want to say to you in an interview. When you get them in the ring and get punched in the face, you'll see what you got quick.
Yeah, I would say that's definitely what I noticed right away. You know, I gave them all kind of a few at-bats, and they kind of were super pumped up, super hyped, and ready to roll. And then as soon as it was cloudy out the next day, it was like they just didn't want to do it anymore. So I guess not to take more time, but I do got another question for you. So I'm kind of new to all this. I have a lot of gray areas, but a lot of stuff's been getting cleared up lately as far as like the investment wholesale side. But would you be able to clarify, because now I have pretty much 90 or so sellers that have already had a conversation with me, and now I want to obviously market them and dispose of these, and obviously get a wholesale fee and assignment and all that stuff. Besides me going in and being in all the 70 or so Facebook groups and all that I've kind of already started to blast out, what do you find is the best route for me to take? And then since I have the benefit of this awesome realtor squad next to me, what can I do with them to kind of help this kind of process of getting these deals closed up?
Yeah, so every when we have our sales meeting, we go through all of our off-market properties with all of our teams, so they know it on the broker side. And then I'll tell you, one of the craziest places we sell off-market properties is Facebook Marketplace. So put it on Facebook Marketplace and just put $10, $20 ad behind it, and it crushes. I think last year we did almost it was like 294, 295 off-market deals, and I would say probably 85% of them sold through Facebook Marketplace. So all the Facebook groups, all the stuff that you're doing, but Facebook Marketplace is another place that just does really, really well for us. On the off-market, not on the brokerage side, on the off-market side.
What's your thoughts on for sale by owner? Like reaching out to them and trying to convert them, or still do deals with them, or is just not enough meat on the bone there?
With for sale by owner, I don't find that they are a wholesale / investment deal. They're more primed to turn them into a listing. They're not primed, at least in I think your effort is better spent other places.
Got it.
Cool, thank you.
And then,
Great questions, though.
I do have one more. So I know Von. What's your other guy's name? The other team leader.
Marco?
Yeah, Marco. There you go. So how do they want to become like team leaders? Like they just like did it on their own. Like what made them do that?
So one of our core values is think in abundance, and I just digress for a second, guys. Like, it's not all about money, but financially, I'm in a place that I never thought was ever possible in my life. And I've done crazy shit in my life that I never thought was heights that I didn't think were reachable. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because I always came from a mindset of abundance. And most people don't. And what abundance means is you're willing to do without expectation of return. And most people don't do that. They want something in return for everything they do, which is the opposite of what anyone in leadership should ever be thinking about doing. And what I will tell you guys is one of our core values in our office is we think in abundance. And if you don't, I'm going to get rid of you. And I'm saying this because both Marco and Vaughn volunteered their time to become leaders in our organization, and they didn't ask for $1 in return. They never even discussed money with me. They didn't ask for shit. And that might sound crazy, but guess what happened inadvertently? Their business exploded, right? They made more money than they ever thought was possible. You know why? Because I saw that they thought in abundance. So you know what I did? Everything in my power to make them grow. And because they felt in abundance, a bunch of good shit started happening to them. See, when you don't think in abundance, when you think in scarcity, and you come from a scarcity mindset of what's in it for me, what's in it for me, what's in it for me, then you actually block the abundance in your life. And you'll never live abundantly, and you'll never have abundance because you're always coming from a scarcity mindset. And when you see the world through scarcity mindset, you never see real opportunity because you're looking at it through a warped lens. When you think and live in abundance, every single real estate company in the world, the biggest ones, I can get the CEO on the phone right now. I can get him on my podcast. I can get him to show up, speak for me on stage. Like Alex knows my network, right? Alex, who spoke at my last event, Alex? Who sat down for hours?
The CEO, Leo.
The CEO of
EXP. And Glenn, he was there too. Shit, he popped in.
In the middle of their quarterly, end of the quarter, he's got to talk to Wall Street the next day, gets out of his meeting, sits down, and talks for an hour to my group because I asked him to. And the reason I have those type of relationships is because I do things without my expectation of anything in return because that's truly thinking in abundance. If you want abundance in your world, you got to live in abundance. And that's what happened with Marco and Vaughn. They volunteered, they raised their hand. They said, we want to help you lead, Brandon, and we don't expect anything in return. But by not expecting anything in return, a lot of good shit happened for them.
I have a question in terms of the time blocking.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know if you turn that on. He can hear you.
No, it's just me.
Oh, sorry.
So with the time blocking, you're like saying you did 90 calls. So I think for me, I do have a problem following up. 100% I could admit. So when you come to time block, how much time did that at first start taking you to do those 90 calls and knowing like, okay, after this I can do appointments. Like I hate having to be late, so that's why I don't know. I think that's where I struggle. Like I don't know how long it's gonna take me, so I don't do it. You know.
Well, so it's a great question, but what I want you guys to think about is, are you professionals or are you amateurs, right? And so what I want you to think about is, if I'm playing in the NFL, right? Think about this. My workouts are scheduled. My practice is scheduled. It's the same time. My meals are scheduled. My recovery is scheduled. Everything is down to, and if you think about it, they're working all off season, all on season, all spring training, right? For, to be on the field for 2 hours. And if you think about it, not everybody's on the field for 2 hours. They're working way more than the actual time that they're on the field. That's what a professional looks like. So the point I'm making to you is, if you don't run your day's going to run you. Meaning, you should have, all right, my time blocking is 9 to 11 and 4 to 6. I'm just giving that for you as an example. And in my time blocking time of making calls, right, I'm not responding to text, I'm not on email, I'm not on Facebook, I'm completely locked in and I'm focused on this task. And then you build your day around that, and you don't deviate from it. You guys all have to, if you want to be successful with running a business, you gotta have non-negotiables. And one of my non-negotiables is I gotta prospect every single freaking day. And so maybe you take 2 hours a day to prospect, you take 1 hour a day to follow up, and then you plan your day around that. Another thing that I will tell you guys is just most people that you're calling are going to answer the phone between 9 and 11 and 4 to 6. That's why I said those two. So for me, I found that I got the highest ratio of contacts from 4 to 6. So I would follow up with my past clients or the people that were in my pipeline for 9 to 11, and I would dial new 4 to 6 every single day, day in and day out. And I wouldn't deviate from that, and I wouldn't let anything come, you know what I mean? And I wasn't on the phone, I wasn't on Facebook, I wasn't doing dumb shit. I was completely locked in.
Okay, and so if you didn't do like, or whatever number you got between those two numbers was that number, whether it was if you hit your goal or not, or
You go home until you do your calls.
Some conversations take longer than others, so I'm just trying to get a grasp of how that.
So my goal was to get one appointment a day, and for me, it would take about 90 conversations typically, right? But so let's just say that if I went through 90 conversations that didn't get an appointment, I'd keep going,
Okay.
right? But I found that for me, it was about 90-ish conversations would get me an appointment, and then as I got better, it was about 50 or 60. And then that gave me the ability to step my call volume up, right? Because I was able to get more appointments in a shorter period of time, if that makes sense. So when I got intentional behind it, right? And then again, like, I wasn't just calling leads just to call them. I was intentionally looking at my CRM and saying, all right, who's been on the website more than once recently? What's their activity been? You know, that kind of thing, where I could go and say, all right, well, these 90 leads have the highest probability of somebody saying yes. And that's what I would call first, because then I had way more of a chance of getting a deal out of them than somebody else, if that makes sense. But I was 4 hours every single day. It was 2 hours follow-up, 2 hours prospecting. And I never, ever deviated from that.
So the morning you said was for follow-up on current or working deals, and 4 to 6 was for new leads, trying to get new appointments in.
Yeah, and so 9 to 11 was follow-up, meaning they haven't said yes to me, but they're in the pipeline. I've had a conversation with them. So 9 to 11 would be follow-up, you know what I mean, of trying to get them to an appointment, trying to get to list their house. Like, it was a follow-up conversation of, you know, where I sent them a listing agreement and they hadn't necessarily committed yet. So 9 to 11 was always follow-up. 4 to 6 was always trying to prospect from there.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great question.
Any other questions? Because I know this man's a busy man. Any other questions?
That was good.
Maybe we have on it for an hour.
I know.
And
Thanks, Brandon.
I appreciate the fuck out of it.
Hold on. We got one online.
Okay.
I got time for one more. Go ahead.
Okay, like at what point in your business did you feel like, okay, it's time for me to level up and I'm done like showing properties?
That's a great.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. You know, to be honest with you, you know, it was when I had so much other opportunity outside of just showing houses. It happened by necessity. But if I could do anything over again, I would have probably stayed in production longer, honestly. Like, I would have stayed. So I stopped working with buyers a long time ago and concentrated, you know, just on sellers. But I probably would have stayed in production and focused on production actually longer than I did if I had to do it all over again. And it was, and I transitioned out of necessity because I'm involved in a lot of stuff on the investment side where it makes more sense for me to spend time on that side than not. But if I could do it all over again, I would have stayed in production longer than I did, honestly.
Why is that?
So Brandon owns a whole compound of businesses. How many businesses do you own, Brandon?
22.
22 businesses. When I went to visit him in Maryland, holy fuck, does this guy got a setup. He's got his own town. It's fucking crazy.
So when you started, were you like just doing real estate, or you had other businesses already?
No, I was only just selling real estate. That's it. That's all I did.
And why do you say you wish you would have stayed in production more?
Say that again.
Why do you say you wish you would have stayed in production more?
Because I was really fucking good at it. I was really good at it, and I made a ton of money doing it. I mean, think about it. I was selling somewhere between 200 to 400 houses a year. You know what I mean? I was always somewhere between 80 million and 100 plus million in production myself. I mean, do the math.
Our whole fucking team hasn't done that.
I guess bouncing off what Jackie says, like when you decided to do that, of course, and it wasn't thinking in abundance because I'm gonna work on something that's gonna make me more, right?
Say that again.
Just following up on what Jackie said, when you decided to kind of step away from that, it was solely because you thought you were thinking in abundance that whatever I'm gonna switch to now is gonna make me more, right?
Yeah. So it was like, you know, I think you should never be scared to reinvent yourself, right? And you should never be scared. Like the evolution of an entrepreneur is you should always be evolving, right? And so for me, I just felt that I could grow on the investment side, and I would do way better leading all my people if I wasn't, you know, just stuck in, and not stuck's the wrong word, but if I was, you know, handling 200-300 transactions is a fuck ton, right? It's hard to do anything else but that. So I saw it as a lane and an opportunity that I could actually be a true CEO, help grow all my companies, help grow all my people. And I did see a bigger payday long term from a financial standpoint, absolutely. But I also had to have enough courage to be like, I'm walking away from 250, 300, 400 sales a year in order to transition into this, and it isn't going to happen overnight. So I was willing to walk away from that daily income for the long-term gain that I felt was there.
Okay.
And then were you doing those like 200, 300 transactions on your own, or like with a team? Like you had 8?
No, I was doing it myself.
Yourself. Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, I did. Now I did have, you know, an EA that helped me, but no, that wasn't my team's production. We did, in 2023, we did 950 transactions with 22 agents. That's what my team did. And I did, I think, 398 that year with one assistant.
Wow.
Yeah. That's awesome.
I don't think you're busy.
So when you guys think I'm too busy,
Yeah.
remember everything this man has said. Holy shit.
I mean, so the thing too that you guys, I'll leave you with this, like everything is perspective. You know, saying you're too busy is bullshit. It's a story you're telling yourself that's not real. Everything is perspective. If you're doing 20 or 30 transactions and you think you're too busy, you're not running your day right? So think about it like this. Think about the Jeff Bezoses of the world, how much that person gets accomplished in one day, right? We all have the same amount of time in a day. It's how you choose to use it. And again, I'm sorry to get morbid on you guys again, but like we also have a clock that's running that we don't know. Y'all don't know when your time is up. And that's another lens that I look through all of it of like, I'm going to leave it on the field every single fucking day. And I'm going to squeeze every goddamn drop out of every single day that I got because I don't know how long that I do have, frankly. Do you know what I mean? This week I had my aunt passed away unexpectedly, and one of my super, super close friends, one of the most successful people I know, committed suicide. Didn't see either one of them fucking coming, right? So none of us know how much time we have. We don't know the clock that's ticking. Like, why would you not want to leave it on the field every single fucking day? And busy and shit is perspective, right? And again, money's not everything, but if you say, I want to make $1 million a year, if I waved a magic wand and said, all right, you're going to have to work 60 hours a week and make 300 phone calls a day, if you knew that was the outcome, you'd probably do it. And for you to change your thermostat, like Alex has been in a lot of the rooms that I've been in where we go and get around people that are billionaires. And like, it always changes my thermostat because I'm thinking, how the fuck can I do any more than I'm already doing? And then you get around somebody like that and you're like, fuck, there is more and I can do more, right? So everything is perspective and it's relative. But if and listen, there's nothing wrong with selling 20, 30 houses a year or less. But if you think that's your ceiling, you are grossly mistaken. And you are underutilizing your time, big time. And I'll end it with that, Alex.
Appreciate you,
so
bro.
much.
Man, thank you much.
Thank you, guys.
Have a good one, bro.